Oh, barely.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning. And like I said, I think I think the fact that we hashed out so much last night
Hashed
put
out
me in a
makes it
good
sound
mood.
like we have beef.
No. We're talking about no. There is no beef. We're both vegetarians. There is no beef here. Just trying to just trying to figure out this whole social media landscape, YouTube nonsense,
bullshit.
And it's like, and I think that we made some brainstorming progress yesterday that put me in a good mood. And then I started brainstorming again, and now I'm kind of like not exactly in a good mood. I'm a very contemplative mood today.
Well, we gotta fix that.
Yeah, I know.
It is Monday, June 26th.
No!
Yes. 2023, and this is the Ragin to the vlogs.
Are you saying that next week is July-ish? The end of next week is July already.
And if you love your dogs and they're scared of thunder and fireworks, it might be a good idea to call the vet today, people.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Get them on that.
That's my PSA. Yeah. Right? You ready for this?
Absolutely not, but hit it.
All right. Bumps for you.
Oh yeah, that's true. Right. Oh yeah, that was one of the things that we mentioned. We're gonna say, bumps are for the middle of the road, not
if we even remember, because we're just there nowadays.
You're right, exactly. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Ragin to the Vlogs show, whatever this is. It's like exactly, and who's joining us in the chat today?
Oh, let's see. So we got John Celestri, Joseph, Allison, Jody McPhee, and Grant. Good morning. Good
morning. Hello. And it's like, I guess, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. So I guess I might as well get this party started. Hello, everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, now currently on Kickstarter in its last 5 days. Tall Tales, or so I thought, the very first full-color Tall Tales short comic on Kickstarter right now, closes on Friday. So you have until Friday to pick up your copy of this standalone story, which is a prequel to the main storyline. Links are in the show notes below. And I am also known for my mature audiences medieval fantasy soap opera drama Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which returns to Kickstarter in a couple of months, August 2nd to be exact. Again, links are in the show notes if you want to get notified when the campaign for issue 7, already at issue 7, goes live on Kickstarter. If you prefer your fantasy to be a little bit more, I don't know, what Eagle Raven is. We're going to be talking about that more as we consider talk about all my marketing lessons today. So yes. In the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com and eagleworks.com. Oh, the short of the day, eagleworks.com, EGOWRKS. And remember, you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube, on my channel at Daphne Lage, that's Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And to tell you more about that, here's Kirby.
Indie Comics Network. It's a channel on YouTube. You can find it, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
.com. Cut.
It's that simple. We talk about comics and stuff and marketing and stuff and publishing and stuff and bullshit and stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
All
your stuffs.
All the stuffs.
And
yes,
stuff.
I see you. Well, that's Saturday's show.
Sorry.
And I see you, the 10 people watching us next to the giant eyeball on my screen from regions beyond. If you're watching us from Facebook, come on over to YouTube. Join the sexy people in the chat. Facebook has a tendency to act up. And we just, and if you want to really have that live conversation with us, YouTube is the best place to do it. And like I said, while you're here, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever any of our shows go live. And you know what? Do us a solid too. Share out the videos that you like to friends and family and whoever that you think.
If you watch it on the replay, tell us about that too. We get into that shit.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you everybody who joined us for the literally very hot version of House of Bob that we did on Saturday. The office, both our offices,
hot mess.
Yeah, hot mess. Both our offices were rather sweltering the entire time we were doing the show. We both had an unnatural glow about ourselves while we were doing this artwork. I mean, it was just while we were doing the show and the artwork that I was doing. Yeah, I hate it when it's hot. I had 3 fans going on at the same time, and it didn't seem to make a dent, and it addled our brains a bit.
We're gonna blame the heat for that.
Yeah, we're going to blame the heat for it.
Okay.
So if you missed out on the show, also we had a couple of glitches, so I had to re-upload the stream as a video. So that's why so any links that we put up before, they don't work. So if you want to see the replay, the video is up on our playlist on both of our channels, so you can watch the stream and watch us, I don't know, make it through 2 hours of sweating on camera for all the wrong reasons. So you can check that out as well. So thank you so much for everybody who joined us. So Nita, so you said that we can't make this up, but the thing is, though, it's like we are making this up as we go.
I couldn't make it up when I was building this StreamYard.
Right.
I was just like, I got titles.
Right. Yeah. It's like really, it's almost like we have a goldfish bowl just full of ideas. It's like, okay, what's the topic? Ideas and random words, and we just try to figure it out. But like we had said in the pre-intro, we were hashing out some stuff last night, in terms of marketing and whatnot. It's like it's very funny how it's like I actually do like learning about this stuff, about marketing and how things work online and whatnot, because it feels like a puzzle we're trying to solve. And it's like, I guess I do it for somebody who doesn't like games. This is a puzzle I really do enjoy, and I think it makes it a lot easier for me to learn this stuff because I do enjoy it on a certain level.
Right.
And it's like, like I said, last night we were going like back and forth trying to hash out some stuff that, in the end is to the betterment of everybody, not just for us. We want to make this streaming experience, this YouTube experience, very entertaining and whatnot for everybody, so that you enjoy watching.
We like to share our knowledge.
Yes, we do. We like, and even when we're not sharing knowledge, we like to, it's like, I like to feel that we're all having a conversation together, and that you as the audience feels somewhat included, even though it's kind of like, on this screen, it's like we're not really in the same room together. And and because
Thank
of
God, because
that,
I'm not wearing pants.
well, yeah, it's too hot in here. It's like, what is it? It's 82 degrees in this office. Like I said, I got 3 fans
82
going.
degrees, you poor
I
unfortunate soul.
That's true.
Like,
What is it? It's like 90 something where you are.
94.
Yeah. Oh, and then the gremlins say it actually feels like 112.
Right?
You
With
know,
an actual fucking temp of 102 day after tomorrow is expected. And it's like, it's fucking June, bitches.
right?
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
These weird weather systems that are floating around now that everyone says you're not supposed to be here this early, but it
mm-mm.
is what it is, right? So we made
Morning, Bill,
several decisions.
Max.
We made some decisions again, to kind of like, do some changes, some minor changes, just here
Because
and
we're
there,
women and we change our minds.
and we have, we can do that, and also it is our channel, so
Right?
so we can do whatever we want.
What did I ask you where you wanted to eat or something?
Well, no, not at all. No. We're going to have that issue when you're here in New York. It's like, what do you want to eat? And it's like, look, yeah, it's like, oh, there's a truck. There's a truck we're going to go to. You don't come to New York without eating out of a truck. So, making changes is always good, to kind of like, tweak what we're doing and whatnot. But the thing is being careful not to make too many changes all at once.
Well, no, because then you scare people.
Yeah, because it's like, then it just begins to look like, you're throwing like random shit on the wall to see what sticks.
Right.
And I would like to think we're a little bit more deliberate than that.
Absolutely.
Because the thing is, though, I really do think that it's like,
you don't ever make a decision without a complete mental breakdown.
Yes, absolutely. That the number one,
and then we keep it to ourselves behind
number
the scenes.
two.
We
yes,
don't even talk about that.
Ruminate on it. Yeah.
Then we get together and we cry it out.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, well, this works. And then we're like, okay, this is happy. Let's show people. There's a process.
Yeah. There's a process. There really is. That there really is. And yes, that really is the process. That really is the process. A lot of gnashing of teeth, a lot of crying, a lot of self-doubt. And then it's like, hey, what if we did this instead? It's like, oh, shit, that's brilliant. And then we're happy.
And then it all comes back together.
It all comes back. Yeah, it all comes together. And the thing is, too, it's like, especially if we're not making mainstream content,
right?
It's like, even talking about indie comics or whatnot, it's a particular niche and whatnot, and and it's like, we also have to consider too that when you think of this down to like your own comics and whatnot, my own comics and everything, that it's like, we talked about making connections to mainstream in order to try to lure people onto our side of the fence.
Right.
That it's like, oh, well, if you like this and that, how about, maybe you'll like this that I'm doing.
Right.
And, the thing is also that we have to always consider, is that all the connections in the mainstream world might not really do much if you're doing like a weird self-indulgent project.
Right.
I mean, like, there's certain, like, all this stuff about marketing that I'm learning, and there's certain realities that I have to kind of like come across to, that I have to accept, that it's like, yeah, it's like, if
Grant.
Oh no, what happened? Oh, the Kirby. It's the Kirby shirt. It's the Kirby shirt.
I'm short.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah, we both are. We both have like the leg lengths of corgis. Yeah, so it's like, if we're, it's like there comes a point where we have to decide, what is it that we're making? And, all the connections to mainstream is, it's like can only do so much, because it's like, maybe your shit just like is just too weird or just too odd, or just too indie,
right,
to kind of make and grow that connection. And then it's like there just comes a point where it's like we have to kind of like decide. It's like, well, if I'm in a particular niche and the niche is this small, is it really reasonable for me to think that I can expand on that?
Right.
doing this particular thing. Kind of like, thinking about, well, if the mainstream is not connecting to this, it has to be for a reason. And then the next question is, well, why do I even want their attention? Yeah, I know. It's
Next
like
Saturday.
Yeah. Like, why do I even want the mainstream attention to begin
Right.
with? Or the wider attention, depending on on what we're doing. And so, of course, this leads me to the fourth chapter of the 1 hour content plan book that I'm currently getting through very slowly, because in the end, it's an easy read, but it's not really. Every chapter has me, again, gnashing my teeth and crying and shit, trying to figure this stuff out. And and here we are at chapter 4, which I mentioned briefly on Monday. No, what's today? Today's Monday. Last Monday's vlog.
I love the title,
or was it Friday?
Position your brand. That's right. Bend over.
Yeah, position your brand. Yes, exactly. Position your brand and content in the online space. What makes you different from everyone doing the same thing you are? Because that's the thing. It's like, we're not unique. I mean, it's like originality is overrated. It's like everything is based on something else. And right. Oh, there you are.
Yes, attention whoring is my game.
Yes, there you go. And yes, and part of marketing is learning how to attention whore yourself properly and efficiently. But the thing is, though, it's like you kind of have to know, not only do you have to know your niche, but you have to know where you stand in your niche. Like, we're in indie comics, right? And then it's like, how do we break that down even further? And some, because what the book is saying is that this is what becomes the footprint of your entire social media presence. Right. If you figure out where you stand, this is what you're going to base everything you do for your content, for social media and advertising yourself and whatnot. That's where it's going to come from. It's going to be all focused on that. So you really have to be clear as to what it is you're doing, what you're making. You have your audience avatar that you want to focus on. Like some of the questions that she asks: where do you see yourself in 5 years down the road? What content do you want to be associated with? What products do you want to be associated with? So what I did was, this morning, I decided I was going to do my homework. And I was going to really think about this question. Right? She never said no. It's like, look, it's like, we're online, we're on YouTube. It's all attention whoring, because in the end, attention is currency. And
God, that sucks sometimes too.
It really does. It's depressing sometimes to think about it that way, but that's what it is. Attention is currency. And
I'm a comics prostitute.
alms for the content, right?
Yeah.
And so this was what I was trying to figure out. So what makes me different from everyone else doing the same thing in my niche, right? And I really had to sit down and think about that, because it's like, the question that I have to ask, that I have to ask myself, and and if you're concerned about this as well, is how are you, like, what is everybody else doing that you feel you are the opposite of? And this was a really, really tough question for me. And this is okay. So
get ready to get your feelings hurt. Everybody pass the box of tissues to the right. Here we go.
Look, I hope that it's like, look, I'm only saying this stuff, as a personal reflection that I hope everybody can kind of learn from and, gain some insight from. Because it's like, in the end, if you have this book, you have to sit here and you have to think of this as well. If you're serious about implementing what this book is recommending, you have to be honest with how you're feeling about your work, how you're seeing the landscape, and how you're going to react to that. So here's what I came up with. Yeah, no. I hate Grant. Really,
I don't want to look at myself.
I hate exercises like this too, because it does require a level of self-reflection that sometimes like, oh, that escalated quickly. So this is what I came up with, for my, really thinking about this. What makes me different from everyone else doing the same thing in my niche? And it's like, look, I don't want anybody to take any of this shit personally. This is a thought exercise.
Here, I'll make it
this
easy
is
for
what
you.
I need. This is what I need to think of, for me to get through, to be able to get to the other side of this exercise, of this thought exercise. Okay. So I just want to clarify that, because this is a lot of navel gazing, and sometimes there's a lot of lint in there that you got to work around.
Ew.
So what makes me different from everyone else doing the same thing in my niche? And then the next question that I ask myself, how can I reflect to my reader, the love I have the love I have in my work when I'm surrounded by people disingenuously claiming the same thing as a marketing trope, not an actual feeling?
Well then.
So it's like, this is kind of like what the first thing that popped into my head. It's like, okay, what makes me different? And it's like, oh, I have passion for this work. But it's like, okay, what do I see to the left of me? What do I see to the right of me? Everybody says they have passion for their work. And then I'm sitting here going, do they really? Do they really? It's like, is there something different that I'm doing that they're not doing? I mean, so yeah, so that's kind of like where my thought process started, because it's like, I really do feel I'm a very passionate person about my work and my art and whatnot, but it's like, how do I portray that? How do I kind of like give my reader, my avatar, the sense that, yes, this is genuine or something, right? So then I started, thinking about, okay, how is Eager Raven different as a story, right? So, so how is Eager Raven different as a story? So this is what I came up with. Eager Raven is a passion-driven project for people who want their fantasy to have heavy stakes without sacrificing the happy ending. More Lord of the Rings than Game of Thrones, but does not shy away from the drama that makes for great conflict that leads to a satisfying conclusion. Main characters that earn their place through trial and struggle rather than being a foregone expectation through the strong female character trope. Swear to God, it's like I felt my tongue bleed writing those three words. But I felt that in order to get through, to make sure that everybody understands what I have here, that I had to really mention that.
Hashtag me too, Carl. Me too.
I know. It's like, you people are awful.
No, God, but you set yourself up for that one.
Well, hey. The hero's journey that focuses on the journey with character-driven stories that, despite the medieval theme, still feels very relatable to modern tastes. Making you care for what the characters are going through rather than just following a quest to the end. Yeah, I would hope so. Yes. Good writing. And you should be, sir. You should. So then it's like, continuing with the theme. So Eager Raven takes everything that I loved as a young teen girl, mixed with what I love as an adult, and mashes everything into a story that hopefully leaves you at the end of each issue clamoring for the next. right? So that's how I'm, kind of like, now here's the thing. It does that really make me unique? Is this what's really, I don't know. You see, that's the funny thing. I mean, it's like I look at this marketing, this landscape that we're in, this crowdfunding landscape, this indie comics landscape, and sometimes I don't know what I'm looking at. Sometimes I don't know, well, how does this make me stand? Me too. You know what? Yeah, I like the. I absolutely, I like the furry porn too. It's like, am I? It's like, is that enough for me to stand out? Is this enough of a base? For me to create content on that will make me stand out. It's like, is it even? Now, mind you, it's like, of course, this is extremely biased. I mean, it's like, Nita, it's like, from what I read, it's like, and what from, like, you read the series, everybody's who's read the series so far up to issue 6. I mean, do you feel
it's
that
different? Well, yeah, it's different, and you stand out because you continually do the work. Your shit's still coming out. But here's the thing. What you're saying about yourself doesn't sound unique because it's the same fucking story we hear from everybody. There's passion in it.
Right.
They have this. They talk about the strong female character,
right?
And the happy ending, or the not happy ending, or the villain's redemption arc, or it's like Superman, but totally everybody's story sounds the fucking same when it's coming out of their mouth. However, when you're putting out the work and you're showing us that content, like it's all in. It's another case of show me, don't tell me. Don't sit here and tell me what makes you different. Show me what makes you different.
Right. Okay. So, and funny that you mentioned that, because the next thing that I was thinking about is, how am I different as a crowdfunding project? So okay, so when we're talking about, you go on Kickstarter, what do I feel makes me stand out, makes me different from the crowdfunding scene? So it's like, so Eager Raven is a long form project where each issue is complete and proofed before a campaign goes live. People who pledge are always expected to receive their books within a month of the campaign closing, creating a satisfying experience on what can sometimes be a very unstable purchasing platform. God, I feel almost dirty writing like this. I've written actual porn that didn't make me feel as icky.
We're all gonna need showers after this.
Well, also because humid as fuck here too, so most likely. Because again, it's like, what do I see? What do I feel I'm the opposite of? And this is kind of one of the things that I feel I'm the opposite of. I mean, and then it's like,
hot take, Matrix.
Right. What? Okay. And then here's the next thing. What, again, it's like, what am I the opposite of on crowdfunding? So the main focus of each campaign is always on the art and story of the main book, with any variant covers added, created to enhance the experience, not supersede it. I want you to get to know my characters, not feel their only importance is how they look in a bikini and how high the book will grade at CGC. I want people pledging to always feel my comics come from a place of my love for the medium and never feel like a cheap money grab or a pandering to fleeting trends and speculator markets.
God, you're hot today.
Well, yes, I am. So again, it's like, does this feel accurate? Does this feel like I just kind of.
How do you stand out? How are you different, Daphne? I'm not here to make fucking friends.
I mean, it's like, look, if this requires me to look at what I'm seeing, right? Now, here's the thing. I mean, is it even accurate what I'm looking at? Or, as I have mentioned before, am I looking at an overrepresented segment of the crowdfunding platform? Am I looking at, so it's like, is this even an accurate road for me to like an accurate, actually more like an accurate pillar? I mean, but like I said, it's like from my experience, from what I've seen, from what's in front of me, it's like, okay, how am I different from this? I mean, because in the end, we all have to ask ourselves that if we want to market our books,
But once again, it's everybody says that how different they are. It's like, but show us, and that is where you're different. You show us continually through the work. Max, not to be a dick, but how is this different than many other creators on the platform? There are hundreds of campaigns that do
exactly. Do. That's and you see, and that's
Max is another one.
Yeah,
he's got that fucking work. It's coming out. It's quality. You see it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like. That's kind of the thing, that it's like, we're all sitting here. It's like, okay, how am I different? How am I different? If I'm supposed to stand out, how am I different? And then it's like, it's like, oh, this is what I think I'm different. But like I said, it's like, look, we all say we're passionate about our work.
Right.
It's like we all say, this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, we all say we have, that's the trick, right? And that's the trick. And here's, and I guess in the end, the only thing, it's like what Nita says, I have to show, not tell. So what am I showing? I'm showing that I have 7 issues out. Right. I'm showing that I have a completed story series. I can show that I have 2
decades of past work.
Right. It's like that I've been doing this since 1992. That I have another series that I'm like 5 trade paperbacks in. So it's like, that it's like, even though the story is long, that it does get done. Right. It's like, so, these are things that's like, okay, so it's like, again, it's like, how do I stand out? And then it's like, then the questions start moving. What makes your project different is you. Right. So how do I convince people that I'm, it's like, it's like, I'm different because I'm me. There's 1,000.
All you can do is keep doing the work and shouting them, because you can try to tell them. Right. You can try to tell them all day, and nobody is going. Right. Everybody's spouting the same shit. Right. Their uniqueness, their this, their that, their passion. To the point where it's all just noise now. You have to show the fucking work. Right.
So we know who's authentic in the game, and the people who someone thinks crowdfunding is a cash grab. I mean, I would like to think that most people can see through that, that it's like, that it's like, everybody, you see, that's the thing. If everybody is saying they have a passion, can people recognize who's just saying it as a marketing point? Rather than,
if you watch them long enough, absolutely, yes,
that's and that's kind of like, in the end, we have to trust. We can do this exercise till we're blue in the face, but on a certain level, we have to trust that we're attracting the right audience members that will recognize that. It's like, you can tell people something until they're blue in the face, but when you show the products being made, who really is going to work. So many people want to rock and roll but not do the work. It's true. It's true. People there's way too many people who just want to show up and want to be known as a creator but barely do anything. It's like they like the idea of being a creator, but not actually doing the work. So it's like, so in the end, it's like, I have to focus on the work. What is the work? And in the end, it's like, what is the work that we're doing? How are we proving this? It's like, I could put 7 issues on the table right now. It's like, I could put 4, 5 trade paperbacks. I could put, it's like, you go on my Facebook, you guys know that I wrote a novel. It's like, I've mentioned how I have another novel. I technically, it's like, I have 2 more stories after that. It's like, so here's also the thing to segue into, where do I see myself 5 years down the road?
Not prison.
Well, no, not prison. And I always remember something that I read. It was an article about why Disney doesn't go after, like it's actually really rare that Disney goes after bootleggers on Etsy.
Right.
The people making bootleg Disney products. And what they said, and what Disney said, is that for all, it's like pretty much they don't go after everybody because most of the people weed themselves out. They said that most people who have Etsy shops, who sell bootleg Disney items, they never last more than 5 years. So pretty much Disney just waits them out and they don't have to do it. Now, it's the ones that last longer and keep being more egregious with their copyright infringement. Those are the ones that Disney go after. But pretty much they said, in about most of these Etsy stores, they don't last more than 5 years. Usually by the third year, they're gone. And which is true because I've bought a lot of, Disney inspired Etsy merchandise, and every single store that I've bought stuff in the past no longer exists.
Right.
So there's a thing for that. So when her next question is, where do I see myself 5 years down the road? It's like, look, I've been doing this since 92. The road is riddled with bodies to people who don't even make it to their second issue, much less 5 years.
Right.
Right. So I know that in and of itself is what makes me different. I have longevity in this game. I'm doing, it's like if you see a comic from me, it has, right. Well, that's true too. Yeah. I forgot. That iPhone movie. Yeah, they didn't want to bring attention to it, and they knew that it's like, look, in this social media hellscape, in about a week, people are going to forget.
In 5 minutes, nobody's going to remember anything.
Exactly. It's like, you know what? I barely remembered that project.
Right.
So that's so my longevity is what makes me stand out in this sense. That it's like, I've been doing this since 1992. I'm still in comics. That must mean something, right? At least I hope. But superficially, where do I see myself down the road doing this? Well, I would like to be making 5 figures regularly on Kickstarter somehow. I mean, that would be nice. That would be nice because, in the end, even though I say that there's easier ways to make money, right now at this point in my life, time is my most valuable asset. So if I decide that I need to get a job, that's me trading valuable time for money. That time that I could be using working on my stuff, I'm now giving it to an employer for money. Yeah. Now, the thing is, though, if I could figure out, or maybe my consistency on Kickstarter, that's another thing that I feel makes me stand out, that I'm consistent on Kickstarter. Like every couple of months, there's a new book out.
Right.
So it's like, what I'm doing this year, I'm doing 6 Kickstarters this year. Right. So it's like, okay, so it's like if you miss one Kickstarter, in like 2 more months, I'm going to have another Kickstarter that you can catch up on. So again, making that crowdfunding, I guess, experience a lot easier, a lot more predictable, right? So that's something else that I think makes me different.
That's what stands you out on the platform: fulfillment.
Yeah,
a history of fulfillment. Like Max, he's got a bunch of campaigns that have been fulfilled. Mm-hmm. John fulfills. Joe fulfills. Carl's done his books. He's fulfilled.
Right. Yeah.
People get their shit. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. So
right, and that's
you
and
take away some of the risk associated with backing a project on a platform.
Right. And people associate, it's like, oh, well, you're not just saying, you're showing me, because I'm getting my books on time.
Right.
I'm getting my books in a reasonable amount of time. I'm not waiting 5 years for a book.
Right.
It's like, I'm not waiting 3 years for a book. I'm not waiting 6 months for a book. I get, like I said, I ship out my books. I try to ship out my books a month after the campaign closes.
Right.
so the whole thing, the time for money. So the idea is that I'm hoping what I'd like to do is make more money on Kickstarter so I can hoard my time. So so that's kind of one of the goals that I have. Why do I want to make more money at Kickstarter? So that I have time for my work.
Right.
Make enough money on Kickstarter so I don't have to sell my time. Because I'd rather keep my time. So, so that's something that I had to admit to, that I had to really clarify why. Remember, I'm always talking about know your why, right?
Right.
So, okay, so that's what I see 5 years down the road, if not sooner, but in 5 years, I'm still going to be here. They keep telling me these Kickstarters are supposed to get easier. I'm still waiting for it. No, it doesn't get
Somebody
easier.
lied to you.
Yeah, no. It's like, look, I've done 30 plus of these things combined with Tall Tales and the Oswald Chronicles. It never gets easier. Every campaign, it's like we're starting from scratch, trying to figure out, okay, what are we doing different this time around that might work? That might work differently. That might, it's like that might give us a little bit more edge. That might push us forward. So no, it doesn't get easier. Anybody who tells you it gets easier is lying. They're lying, or they're being very incredibly optimistic, and it's bless their heart. Bless your heart.
Oh, you're adorables.
Yeah, exactly.
You speaking Southern.
Right. Well, I don't.
That was impressive for a Yankee dang.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much. So in 5 years, I still expect to be doing this because I've been doing it since 92. Why would I stop now? Right. So at least for that, I know in 5 years down the road, I'm still going to be doing this. So that I know for sure. Right. So in terms of projects, right, that I'm kind of like looking in 5 years, I'd like to have Heir of the First Unicorn, the main series, all 15 issues completed, because all subsequent Eagle Raven projects will point back to this series.
Accurate.
Let's see. The only thing that happens after you do a bunch of Kickstarters that you stop fucking the campaign every 5. I love that.
And then only every 15 minutes.
Yeah, no.
Oh my God.
Only, yeah, no.
Refresh.
It's true.
Refresh.
No. Yeah, no. I've gotten to a point where I have this rule. I only look at a campaign once a day. That's it. And that's only when I'm doing an update, because I want to know where the campaign is at so I can adjust my update accordingly. But yeah, it's like it's true. It's true.
So true.
It's so true. Yeah, so I want the main series completed, because remember, all my projects are going to point back to that. I want to have my 2 novels complete, Cult of the Wolf Witch and Whispers to Eros. I want those 2 novels done. They're in the process right now. It's like, the Cult of the Wolf Witch is just kind of in the pseudo editing phase, and Whispers to Eros, I have to do the artwork for that to bridge all these short stories together. So also in 5 years, I want completed or in the process of completing another 2 books that I'm working on. Eagle Raven, The Gods Must Be Crazy. Now, because of my current experience and excitement with Clip Studio Paint, things that I thought that I was going to do as novels are now switching in my head, that I might be able to do these as comics or as graphic novels again. Nice. So that might be on the table. So there's 2 books in particular that I want to move on to. So the first one is The Gods Must Be Crazy. And then the second one is Eagle Raven, The Heart of the Unicorn. That's my medieval serial killer story that I'm just dying to get to. I am just absolutely dying to get to this one. So those are like the 2 major projects that I want to have in the process in the next 5 years. So I'm all, so that's the thing. It's like, okay, we have a plan, this is where, so I know what I'm putting together for that. So here's the next question that she brings up. What content do I want to be associated with? Now, remember, content and your comic are 2 different things. Your comic is your product. Your content is how you present yourself on social media. Nita had mentioned before about how it's like, like how we're always fussing with how we want to present ourselves on YouTube, and everything. And it's like, that's what I had to think about. What content, what type of content do I want to be associated on social media? What I want, when people come to my Twitter page, my Facebook page, my YouTube channel, what can they expect from me?
Sex, drugs, comic books. Oh, wait.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so what I want to be associated with is fantasy art oriented content mixed with lighthearted memes, because sometimes a little meme here and there doesn't hurt anybody. Memes and positivity posts, educational and art lifestyle videos with motivational overtones. So pretty much,
well, you're just going to live your best life now, huh, Daphne?
Well, you see, again, it's like, how am I going to be the opposite of what I see?
Right. No, for
what
sure,
I see,
for sure.
And what I usually see is a lot of snark, a lot of, negativity, a lot of fucking hot takes that nobody gives a shit about. But boy, do they have a lot of things to say about it. Remember, the internet opinions are like opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and boy, do they love showing it online. So I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be associated with that. It's like, I'm not interested in hot takes. I'm interested in motivating people to pretty much live their best comic book life. It's like, you want to be in this?
Just pass the donation plate around the church.
Fuck. PayPal in the No, PayPal is not in the show. Yeah, there is a PayPal in the show.
Is there?
And my link tree.
Oh, yeah, hit it up.
Send money.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. So that's but you do have that weird belly button. So that's, so I had to narrow down. It's like, okay, what are we doing? What do I want to be associated with? I want to be associated with, like I said, motivating look, a lot of you watching right now, you're in comics, you're doing indie comics or whatnot, and you want to know, it's like, okay, what our opinions are on it. And honestly, it all boils down to this one tweet that Ryan Holiday did that I always have to remind myself, that I use it to remind myself sometimes as to okay, what am I focusing on? What am I and it's always this. And honestly, and I want this to kind of this is kind of how I feel. This tweet I think represents what I think I'm going for here. Right. Your potential, the absolute best of what you're capable of, that's the metric to measure yourself against. Your standards are winning is not enough. People can get lucky and win. People can be assholes and win. Anyone can win, but not everyone is the best possible version of themselves. And that's what I want. That's what I want to base everything that I'm doing. If I'm going to stand out, it's like if anything makes me stand out, is that I am trying to be the best possible version of myself. There is only me, just like there's only you. There's only everybody out there. There's only one of you. Are you exactly? It's like
y'all's if y'all were duplicated.
Right, I know. It's like, are you the best? The only thing you can be is the best possible version of yourself, because people can luck into success. People can manufacture success. But in the end, what does that mean? And that's also something for everybody to think about as well. It's like, and again, going back to my original thought at the beginning, it's like there comes a point, also where it's like, if the book, it's like, if what we want to do in the end has a limited audience because it's not palatable to the mainstream somehow, it's like, and maybe
then
you shouldn't
fuck
be
the mainstream.
right.
Let's be
Maybe
our
you
authentic
shouldn't
selves
be.
and live our best lives now.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
yes.
I mean, live,
Everybody
laugh,
get in the car. We're going to church.
Yeah, exactly. Live, laugh, love, everybody. Without hanging up that stupid
without
Michael
being
sign
so
in your house.
basic.
Don't
Fuck
don't
that.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because it's like I mean, it's like, because learning this marketing stuff is important if we want to move forward. Like I said, it's like I'm using this marketing stuff to learn how to buy back my time.
Right.
How do I keep from having to sell off my time? Right. So it's like, so I don't have to, it's like, if I'm able to be just a little bit more successful on Kickstarter, that money represents me not having to sell my time in order to be able to do my work. So I know I have to learn this in order to do what I want to do. And like I said, this is everybody in the audience too. This is what we're all thinking. We're all here because we're all thinking the same thing. But then again, there's another part of me that looks at the people making more money than me and saying that, oh, you have to cater to these people. You have to. It's like, do I really? Do I really have to change drastically what I'm doing in order to cater to people who only see my work in one way? That I have to grind my work into a gray paste in order to be palatable. It's like, do I really need to do that? Do I want to do that? And that's what, it's like, when you look at your work, I mean, is that what you want? Do you want to grind it into a gray paste so you could just slop it out?
Just blend in with everybody else?
Right. And it's like, look, we're in indie comics for a reason, right? I mean, it's like, look, we've had an entire hashtag of people trying to chase that mainstream dollar and completely destroying themselves over it and having nothing to show for it at the end. So it's like, I don't see how that's worth it. That it's like, maybe it's better for me to have 100 people who follow my work for the love of it than have 1,000 people who toss my work in a corner or slab it just to crow about how they got a 9.8 grade on it. Like it means something. I mean, so it's like, does that make me different? That it's like, that I can kind of have this attitude that it's like, yeah, exactly. They were just fucking around. There were two guys fucking around, goofing on a Daredevil comic, goofing on Daredevil, and they ended up smacking the shit out of the zeitgeist because of that, so it's like, so it's kind of like, that's kind of like how I'm thinking about this. Like, Marcus Aurelius, again, because I always got to bring up the fucking Stoics, right? Take a shot every time I mention the Stoics and Clip Studio Pay. He spoke about saying no enough times so that you can say yes to the things that matter, right? So in this world of marketing, what am I saying no to in order to say yes? It's like, how far am I willing to
You're
go?
saying no to the circle jerk, Daphne.
And it's like that I'd rather have artistic integrity in what I do. I mean, it's like, do I really want to cater to people who say that that's a bad thing?
Right.
That's a waste of time. Artistic integrity, it's like that people who look, that are easily impressed by AI art, You know, I mean, am I really that interested in attracting? No, you know what? No, I'm not. You know, you know, it's like, am I willing to? It's like I am willing to learn this though. Like I said, to make more money because time is my most valuable asset.
Right.
You know, but it's. You know, but it's like, yeah, it's just like I said, it's a lot. This is just, you know, this was a lot of navel gazing I wasn't expecting from a book about marketing. You know, I mean, but I think that in the end, it's like, if this means something to you, you have to come to terms to that. You know,
Right.
Are you making a widget or are you making art? You know, is your only concern making a book that it might as well have blank pages in it because the audience that you're catering to is a speculator's market that's only going to slab it and, you know, put it in their collection, you know? Right. You want to roll with those who appreciate what you do.
Right.
In both, and here's the thing, you know, there's this, you know, always this discussion that pops up that there's,
and actually appreciate what you do, not
right,
what you can do for them.
Right. You know, that it's like there's always this discussion that pops up about, oh, you need to cater to readers, not to creators. But you know, here's the thing, though.
Don't creators read?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wait, no,
One,
I can't
you
read.
know, creators, you know, you know, it's like I want to surround myself with readers. I want to attract readers who actually do that, who read my books, who engage with my books, not just consume it and throw it in a corner.
Right.
You know, I want people to have the
slab it and
to have the same passion I have for my work as I do for it. You know, it's like, yeah, I do my work for an audience of one, but it's a lot more fun when I can share it. You know, and it's like
I'm being good.
Right. You know, but I also want to surround myself with creators who also share that passion too. You know, I want to surround myself, you know, the whole, you know, show me who your friends are, and I'll tell you, and I can tell you who you are, you know, and I'll tell you who you are type of thing, right? It's like I want to surround myself with creators who also see this as a journey, as a storytelling medium. You know, it's like we're telling stories. We love what we do. You know, it's like I'm not interested in people who are just like going, okay, you know, how much money can I make off of this cover?
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, I made $15,000 on that, on my campaign, so that makes me better than you. Does it really? You know, I mean, it's like, okay, you made $15,000, but at the end of the day, does anybody give a shit about what you made? You know, are people reading it? Are people caring about it? You know, or
do they just want that hot ass fucking Lena Dye or Shikari cover?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You know, or something like that. Right. Because, you know, they could slab it.
Right.
You know, it could be a key issue.
And look, I don't even, sometimes it sounds like I'm hating, but I'm really not. I'm just like, just spitting the facts.
You know, I mean, there's
like, because I collect shit too. I'm a sucker sometimes. I like the titty covers, whatever.
Right, yeah. You know, it's like Lena Dye, you know, it's like I really enjoy her work.
Especially Lena Dye. Oh my God.
You know, it's like, you know, honestly, it's like if I could, you know, fit in a variant cover from her, it's not in my budget, but if I could, I would. There's plenty of people I would love to have variant covers for, you know. But I would like to think I'd get those covers because I enjoy having them.
Right. Again, that audience of one.
Right. You know, not because like, oh, if I get this particular artist, I'll make some buku coin. You know, and it's like, that's not the point of why I do this. You know, and it's like, is it a privileged position to be in? To be able to say, it's like, I'd rather sacrifice that to keep my vision, the integrity of my vision of what I do. You know, is that a bad thing? You know, maybe in a capitalist hellscape where everything is measured by numbers, you know, maybe, but it doesn't mean that I have to play in it. Although I do have to accept that there are consequences to not playing in that cesspool.
For sure.
You know? You know, but that's, you know, you know, and that's kind of the thing I think we all have to kind of think about. It's like, it's fucking marketing. I'm talking about marketing.
It's soul searching, Daphne. It's soul searching.
You know, I don't get it. You know, it's like I wasn't supposed to think this much about a couple of questions about like how I'm going to do my fucking social media posts, how I'm going to post on Facebook, how am I going to do YouTube videos. I didn't think I had to think this hard about it.
Everything you do that will ever be in the public eye needs to be planned out.
Right.
Like, period. Like, yeah, okay, so yeah, we sit here and we ad lib back and forth and whatever.
Right.
And that's all fine and dandy, but at the end of the day, we have a focus.
Right. I mean, and honestly, as my probably undiagnosed ADHD brain rattles about in there, it needs a focus. And it's like, and I need to think this way in order to hyper focus my thoughts so that I don't feel like I'm aimless in my creativity. You know, it's like, Grant, I do a comic where one of the main characters is a teenage girl, and a lot of marketing people have tried to talk me into sexualizing her. That's a line I'm not willing to cross. Yeah, I mean, we've seen some really weird campaigns. Let's just say that. You know, it's like we've seen, I remember seeing some campaigns. They advertise it as an all ages book, and then you scroll down and there are nude covers. And I'm like going, yo, pick a lane.
Look, yeah, I'm dead serious. I have mad respect for you for standing your ground, because there was that one campaign. Oh my God. It was targeting children for the audience, and she had an adult variant cover.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is, what in the pedo hell is this shit?
Right, exactly. Like, I mean,
it felt dirty. It was
gross.
I
mean, and that was and the thing is, so like I made Ego Raven mature audiences. Right, exactly. It's like there's no reason to, but the thing is, though, it's like, yeah, it's like, but sometimes it feels like we're being pressured to, and we have to hold that line. You know, what are you, you know, it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, what are you willing to do to market your book? But holy shit, there has to be a line you won't cross. And there's usually lines you won't cross. And I see them all the time too. You know, I mean, what's ironic is that, you know, talking to the amount of guys who do titty covers who almost like clutch their pearls at the idea of doing an adult nude cover.
It's like,
it's like, you know, like that's a strange line to not cross, you know, when you're already halfway there. But yeah, but like for books where it's like, it doesn't, like, you know, but I think that that's the benefit of knowing yourself, right? So, you know yourself, know your comic, know, you know, what you want to get out of this, so that all this marketing nonsense makes sense in the end to you. Because as long as it doesn't make sense, you're scattershotting. And it's like, yeah, and you have people going, oh, well, you have a teen girl on the cover, do a nude cover. It's like, holy shit, that's not where we want to go with this. You know, so at least you can say for sure, you know, what are your goals? You know, it's like, what are your dreams? What are your aspirations? You know, so I mean, yeah, so there, you know what, so you have any final thoughts on this? Because like I think my
final thought is, let's wrap it up. I gotta go get in the bathtub. There's a fucking tornado.
Oh, there we go. What's up, Nita?
I got 10 minutes, dude.
You got 10 minutes. You got the 10-minute warning. So there you go. So thank you, everybody in the chat, for listening. Thank you, everybody. My 13 eyeball people still watching to the end of this video. Nita's got to get in the tub because she got a tornado warning. So if you want to learn more about me and my artwork and everything else, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWRKS. You can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook, Facebook. Remember also that you can read Eager Raven for free on the website, uploading every day, Monday to Friday. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales Online. And not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, but you can catch up on the latest story arc, Tears the Mother, which is also currently uploading Monday through Friday. So on that note, in the words of the ancients, get in the fucking tub. 1, eat your food, moisturize. Mind your business and do the work, because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. And yes, and rule 4, go get in the tub, Nita, and we'll see you
Bye.
later.
You got it. You gonna cut it off?
Oh yeah, let me do that.